Welcome back to State of the Union. I'm Jake Tapper. More than half of all states have started reopening non-essential businesses, but Maryland's stay-at-home order is still in effect, and the number of new confirmed coronavirus cases there is still on the rise. Joining me now is Republican Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland. He's also the chair of the National Governors Association. Governor Hogan, good to see you as always. I want to start by asking you to respond to something that we just heard from White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow, who said that they're taking a pause right now. They're not really sure what they're going to do, if anything, in terms of further economic help to citizens or to states or cities. What do you make of that?
I'm not really quite sure what to make of that, Jake. I just did listen in and hear that this morning. But the message seems to sort of change almost on a daily, sometimes several times a day. I think we're making progress. And look, I believe that I think the first three and a half stimulus packages have been helpful. And everybody's trying their best to get all of that money out to the people that really need the help, both the individuals who've lost their jobs and to the small businesses that are hurting under this terrible economy and this shutdown that everybody's had to do for the virus. But I think we are going to need more help, and I think we are going to be able to get something done in a fourth stimulus package, both money out to the states where I think we're in the best position to be able to provide those services and help those people that really need it. And I'm hopeful that we'll be, the President, Vice President, and Secretary Mnuchin have already committed to it multiple times, and now, the message seems to be changing. I'm just hoping, we can put aside all this kind of divisiveness and partisanship, because we just have to get this done for the American people. And it seems like, we have people jumping in and saying, well, we'll do it if we get this. The other side says, well, we'll do it if we get that. I think we just ought to focus on this crisis, on this economy, on trying to get people back to work, and not cloud it with multiple other outside issues, either from the Democrats in the House or from the White House or from the Republicans in the Senate. Mm-hmm. Let's just focus on helping the people and coming together in a bipartisan way.
You heard Larry Kudlow say this morning, he reflected what President Trump has been saying about states that have sanctuary cities, and I believe Baltimore is a sanctuary city, that they might have to change those laws in order to get funding. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, Baltimore's not a sanctuary city, and Maryland's not a sanctuary state. But
I apologize.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm talking about, though, Jake. So there are people. The Democrats are saying we'll do it if we get this additional funding for these other things. The Republicans in the Senate are saying we'll do it if we get these other liability issues for businesses. Now the White House is talking about sanctuary cities. And I think everybody ought to stop talking about all of those things and just focus on getting people the help that they need without bringing all these other, outside political issues into the debate. It's no time for divisive politics. It's time to get something done.
So let's start with testing. You said that 500,000 coronavirus tests you've recently acquired from South Korea are being guarded in an undisclosed location by the National Guard and by Maryland State Police in order to prevent the federal government or anyone else from seizing them. Is that really necessary?
I'm not sure it's necessary at this point. The question really came up about a week or so ago when I was asked about flying the test kits in from South Korea, and we were very careful about that because there have been several reports of shipments being intercepted or diverted by the federal government from a couple of my colleague governors from around the country. We wanted to make sure that didn't happen, which is why we had the National Guard and the State Police, why we flew a Korean passenger plane into Baltimore, Washington International instead of Dulles, where they normally land. And we're guarding them. Look, we're working together with the federal government right now. An outbreak in Salisbury on our eastern shore of poultry workers that are infected. FEMA's doing a great job there, helping us, and we have those Korean tests with our National Guard, with our federal partners and our neighbors in Delaware and Virginia. We're all working together. So it's not a concern any longer, but honestly, it was an issue that we were looking at as we flew them in.
Yesterday, a group called Reopen Maryland trekked more than 150 miles from Frederick to Salisbury to stage protest rallies on both sides of your state. Maryland Republican Congressman Andy Harris spoke at one of the rallies. He had some interesting words. Take a listen.
I didn't wake up in communist China, and I didn't wake up in North Korea this morning. And tomorrow morning, I should be able to go to the church of my choice and worship the way I choose.
That's your fellow Maryland Republican comparing the way you're running your state to communist China and North Korea. What's your response, sir?
Well, first of all, look, I think everybody has a right to protest and express their feelings. A couple of dozen people did so yesterday, and they have every right to do that. Sadly, we had far more people die yesterday in Maryland than we had protesters. Congressman Harris, I'm not sure where he woke up yesterday morning, but maybe he confused North Korea and South Korea. South Korea is doing a great job on testing, and we just saved the lives of thousands of Marylanders by getting those 500,000 tests from Korea. But I really don't have any further comment. I mean, he's obviously got the right to say whatever crazy things he wants to say, but you know, I don't really need to respond to him.
Yesterday was a gorgeous spring day on the East Coast. We saw people in New York City and Washington, D.C. crowding into parks. In Washington, they went to the National Mall, filling it. In this photo that I'm putting up now, there does not appear to be much social or physical distancing going on. And the National Mall, of course, not that far from the state line. What's your reaction when you see images like these?
Well, it's one of the things that we've been concerned about, and we're very anxious to get our state reopened in a safe way as soon as we possibly can, because people are getting frustrated and they've been inside of their homes, and especially we want to get them outside and enjoying some fresh air after being cooped up. People are ready to do that, and we want them to be able to do it, but in a safe way with social distancing. The District of Columbia has a stay-at-home order in place, has a limits of no crowds larger than 10 or more. It appears as if thousands of people are jammed into the National Mall in direct violation of that law in Washington, D.C. And it's one of the things we're concerned about. You see this happening around the country as states try to open in a safe way. Unfortunately, the pressure is to do it in a not safe way, and that's something we're very concerned about, and one of the reasons why we're being cautious and trying to do things in a slow, safe, and effective manner.
Governor Larry Hogan of the great state of Maryland, thank you so much for your time, sir. We really appreciate it, as always.
Thank you, Jake.